And we on it. Hello. Hey everyone. Welcome to Mastafran art stream. Hope everyone's doing really good. I've been pretty nice. It's a nice Good Friday, April 3rd, weekend before Easter, Sunday, so things have been pretty nice. Been rainy most of today and maybe yesterday, I'd say. And yeah, it kind of like picked up, but other than that, you know, it's been a pretty alright week. I've just been spending a long time kind of just playing catch up on this specific illustration. I'm actually in the process of getting the finishing touches of getting this done, because I'm nearly done with this. I just need to add little last minute details. And you know, I've been finishing up this commission for, I'd say, most of this week, kind of like adding like little background stuff and you know, some nice little like cool effects. And honestly, you know, it's looking all right. Let me see here. There's some like things that I'm seeing that are kind of just I guess miffing me, so that's kind of just why I'm kind of just being a little perfectionist about it. Yeah, there's a whole host of stuff that I want to at least knock away, just for the sake of just having this down, like this. Get that down there. Have like a little cast shadow here. Yeah, a little like just little bits of extras to kind of just get things rolling here and just knock them out. So kind of just doing this little warm-up drawing before I kind of just dive into the actual meat of work on just checking out some fine reaction stuff. Yeah, recently I was interviewed by Cartoonist by Night. I'm gonna do a little like React Andy stream as I kind of just do a little color commentary about what I've been doing. You know, stuff that I talk about, or correct some things that I kind of feel like I missed out on or messed up talking about. And honestly, kind of just shooting the shit and just chatting in general, because essentially what I'm doing is just drawing and listening to a stream, basically. So right now I'm kind of just improving the cast shadows here. Let's see here. Oh, I know it's wrong. I can see what's wrong here. Yeah, I can see what is exactly wrong here. Like, why is it that my airbrush just ain't on? So I need to just use the airbrush, kind of just knock away this fog, and not just make it a hard line. Yeah, so far so good. Just doing a bit of housekeeping to kind of just get this looking slightly better. Alright, will you look good with the fog? Sort of. You're kind of like in this sense of kind of want to at least get this cast shadow looking alright before I just let you vanish away. What I'm actually gonna do this here, and then add a little bit of side stuff here, because her cast shell kind of like casts in this way, because the light's supposed to be up top. It's difficult to explain, but essentially I want to at least have a cast shell just looking like she's casting a shell, because otherwise the fog kind of like makes her legs kind of just vanish away. So I'm kind of just doing stuff like that. But yeah, what I was really supposed to be doing is work on the pinstripes. So kind of just working this down, kind of just getting this down. So should probably like explain why I chose the colors instead of the big yellow suit for like the last stream. So, you know, essentially, you know, my client said, you know, she wanted that, so, you know, I obliged, and that's pretty alright with that. So, I gotta just do the orange color, because the my previous cat character, or at least her previous cat character, she was initially orange, but then I kind of just made her a white tiger to make her grayscale, and so I kind of just let that rock with that, do that stuff, and then it looked like an orange cat. So doing essentially the same thing with this, except I kind of just this is overlaid. I'm also double checking my refs here and just seeing, you know, she suggested these pinstripe connections, so I've kind of just been doing that. So kind of just carefully just putting down the big notable stripes here. And I was expecting to do this fast, and I kind of just fell off. I kind of spent my entire morning essentially not doing it fast, and I figured, okay, I'll just do it actually on stream, because, you know, one, content, and two, I'm kind of just very bad at working on stuff in the morning, and then once the afternoon hits, then I'm able to actually sit down and draw. I am not very, I guess I can't say that I'm super good at sticking to my I guess the big schedules I am. Like when I wake up in the morning, I am not really, like if I don't have to wake up in the morning like for work or anything like that, I am absolutely unwilling to get out of bed in general. So that's kind of just my little personal fatal flaw, so to speak. But I mean, you know, it is what it is with that. Right now, I am just in the process of adding some just little pinstripes. I'm not really doing anything crazy extreme. Just using my my general line art, super thin line art brush, and kind of just putting these pinstripes in stripes of 3. I've seen other artists do a system where they'll take straight stripes and they'll lasso tool that down, and then that's how they get their stuff. And that's probably more legit than how I'm doing it, where I'm actually physically drawing the stupid stripes myself. But I guess for some reason, I feel like drawing them myself will be faster for me. And I think it's mainly because I didn't set up like a library to put these stripes in. So that's probably the big notable reason. So I'd say this is probably, I don't know if it'll be my last drawing commission, but I'll probably walk away from like big notable, I guess, non-pixel art commissions for a bit, because I guess I feel like I want to make make more of an effort to kind of just commit to pixel art. I mean, I do a lot of drawing in general, but I feel like a lot of the drawing's not really encouraging me to stay with pixel art as much. You know, you have a lot of like, and I see a lot of pixel artists and they're exceptional. And I'm like, okay, I want to be exceptional too. Thing is, I rarely do pixel art as much as I should. And I could stand to at least do some more pixel art, because I feel like my pixel art's kind of basic in comparison to those artists, where they're able to essentially make really elaborate pixel paintings essentially. And you know, there's a long debate about like, okay, what is the line between digital painting and pixel art? And is it a resolution? Is it the number of pixel size? Stuff like that, yada yada. Some people can argue it's a bit irrelevant. I'm probably in that camp, but I'm also completely inexperienced with that kind of stuff, so I actually don't even know. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks decent. But now I'm going to see if I can clean up some of the coloring with the marker draws here. So this, want to at least knock out the Copic texture brush here. So I worked on this entire illustration in Procreate, and the one thing in Procreate that's kind of made this not as good is that the way I have my Procreate brush is not how I have my my Clip Studio Paint brush, and I've been struggling to figure out why on earth it doesn't, I guess, paint like the Clip Studio brush that I have. Because the Procreate brush, it doesn't color over lines, while the Clip Studio brush can like color over lines. Like, I'd say my Procreate brush is more like an actual Copic marker, because if the color is darker than it really is, if the color is darker than the other color, it will just override that color. Like, you couldn't cover it up at all like you can here. So that is one little modification that I kind of just did to this Copic marker brush, is that I gave you the ability to cover over colors. And that's similar to my initial training when I was learning acrylic paint. And I was doing acrylic paint, and that's how I guess learned how to, color in general, is I painted with acrylic paint. How are you looking here? Okay, you look good. One thing that I can do is I can add little white lights. Yeah, I'll call you white lights. Add little white lights to the gun and give it a bit of like a metal scent. Yeah, and give it a sense that it's kind of like similar to how I would do things on a gel pen and stuff like that. Like, if I was coloring this traditionally, this would be my gel pen phase, where I would get a gel pen or a colored pencil and just add like little rim lights to it. The colored pencil is probably better in more cases because you can actually use the colors. And I initially just did the colored pencil stuff because, I wanted to burn through my colored pencils, since I was kind of just not using colored pencils anymore because I was just all in on markers. But the colored pencils still they still have their place, because they're just simple Prismacolor colored pencils. They're this large art supply collection thing that I was tricked into buying when I first went to college, and that was kind of just one of those things that came with it, and I didn't have to get it. It would have been cheaper to just get the color separate, but I was a freshman and I didn't know, and you know, life is very stupid, and I'm not a sensible person. But, you know, it is what it is. You live and learn. And honestly, it's not bad to have a decent amount of supplies. It's just when it hits a point where you're kind of just getting to gear acquisition syndrome, where you're just collecting stuff just to collect it and you never actually use it. I feel the same way when sometimes when I'm buying references, I will kind of like have a bit of a sobering moment where I'm like, I have so many reference pictures, but I never actually dive into my reference pictures to, you know, look through them and actually use them. I just collecting pictures online, and I'm getting better at not immediately diving into that. But yeah, that's you know, that's still a bit of fixes I gotta do. All right. So one more thing that I can do right now is I can add her tiger stripes. All right, detail inks. You'll be here. And one thing that I really should be doing is actually coloring this ink. So one thing that I could do that I could really just improve on is I could just work on the line art. Line art. Then I could just recolor you. Or better yet, how you looking? Looking kind of solid. There's some little bits, but right now, actually looking pretty decent. And one thing that I do like about digital art is that I can recolor my lines, so that's been pretty nice with that. So I kind of just do that to... No, I don't need that. So I'm able to recolor my lines like a colored dark line instead of a pure black line, to kind of just make it look, I guess, not as harsh looking. And I kind of just do this as a weird like peer pressure thing when it comes to kind of like how I just make my line art in general. And you know, people probably won't even notice, but I'm kind of just of the opinion that, you know, someone's probably gonna notice. What I'm gonna do with this is I'm actually going to make the signature a add and kind of make it slightly blend in, so you know, it just blends into the art. I tend to put my signatures in the middle of a character, so it's very difficult to crop without ruining the piece. So I will put it either inside a tail or around an arm, stuff like that. And I mean, it's not to say nobody's not going to be able to crop it, but it's one of those things where it's like people are gonna notice if somebody's like, I want to knock this out. Obviously they could probably like Photoshop it out and things like that, but it's one of those things where, you know, the more you can waste I guess, thief's time, the more secure you can at least make yourself, because a lot of security measures are less about, you know, making it unbreakable and more just making it more of a pain in the butt. Because the only real litmus test to, I guess, theft prevention is how much of a pain in the butt you want to make it for you know, the thefter or the or the thief or whatever you want to say. So that's kind of like a long shot thing that I kind of just do every once in a while. And obviously I never remember to assign all the work that I make, like specifically my sketches. I don't have enough of a habit to remember to finish editing all my sketches there. I'll also do a little bit to kind of just frame this. Get you here. You know, I could probably just get away with, you know, if I was braver, I probably would just paint this as an actual line and stuff like that. And stop being so cowardly when it comes to just line art and just accepting the paint edges and stuff like that. Probably should just take the plunge and just do it. Because it's kind of weird, because I keep like wondering, am I trying to evolve my art because I want to evolve my art, or because I feel inadequate and I'm constantly comparing myself to other people who may or may not make art too. Okay. Alright, one last thing. Tiger stripes. Add stripes. So one thing that I keep forgetting to do in general is this cat's supposed to be, I guess, this other cat's sister. Yeah, where is it? Let's save. Oh, are you frequently deconnecting? Yeah, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah, if it's constantly disconnecting, I'll probably just depend on the recording. It is what it is with that. We probably like close a few of the text documents because I don't really need to use that. And for some reason, LibreOffice freaking eats a whole lot of resources, and that's the most insane thing I've heard with a text editor doing that. And it drives me nuts. Yeah, well. Alright. So let me go back to my ref of my cat character, or her cat character. It's not my cat character, just my drawing. Got it. Let me just go back to Alright, so I've kind of like put in my ref stuff. So this is supposed to be a set, and I'm slowly like making my artwork for this stuff is better and better because I'm a crazy person and I am unwittingly putting more effort than I should on these, because these were supposed to be like fast commissions, but you know, I was constantly kind of just getting into it. So it is what it is with that. But I'm not going to do this more and more. Oh, thanks for the follow. Yeah. If you were following me on YouTube and stuff like that, you're never going to notice. Because I guess for some reason the comments don't actually the comments don't go up from YouTube, and honestly I'm not fretting so much about YouTube comments. But yeah, thanks for stopping by on my Twitch channel. And honestly, I feel like the stream, you know, I guess setup stuff is better in general with Twitch. I don't know what kind of programming YouTube does with this connection, but you know, I still trying to just hit that up. But there's also a possibility that I'm also kind of just all right, I'm like, what the hell? Okay. It's also possible that my internet connection's also not very good either, because I'm constantly noticing that OBS is absolutely dying as well, and I'm not happy about that. And hopefully things will be better. And I'm gonna take a break before I actually do my React stream to kind of just make sure things are actually connecting. I don't know if I have to lower my bit rate. I don't know if I have to either drop a connection channel. I don't even know if it's my internet, but hopefully that's better in general. So what I'm actually gonna do here, I'm gonna put you under colors. Call you cat stripes. And also, can I just put you here? You know what? Well, the reason I do this is so I can just have flat colors. I don't even need to worry about fumbling the suit. That's why I have a duplicate flats layer, so I can just select as I go. So that's pretty rad. Alright, and now we can actually kind of just do some stuff here. I could probably like get a little darker. And honestly, yeah, I think my my Clip Studio Paint Copic brush is miles above my Procreate art brush, like by a long shot. I feel like I'm still not mastering Procreate as much as I wish I could. You know, let you go here. Yeah, you'll work here. Yeah, because I feel like I am not really grasping how Procreate handles its brush settings. And I feel the same way about trying to modify brushes in Krita. I don't know why. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's just I'm not understanding the program. I'm probably not even giving it enough time, so that's probably the main reason. I mean, it's likely the main reason is that I'm not giving this enough time to really just let you sit. That's kind of just how I've kind of just been seeing this is, yeah, it's kind of just it's gonna be all stripe color. I don't even know why I kind of just did this. It's kind of just like boom, because I could just let it be a actual flat thing, but I'm like, no, I gotta make it kind of like slightly streaky because it looks like fur that way. I'm kind of just doing some fine little like tiger stripe looks like this. And it's literally just, I want to patch this and get it looking like these repeating patterns. And I don't know why I skew towards these odd repeating patterns, but it tends to kind of just make this, I guess I feel like it makes it look like the fur is looking slightly better when I do stuff like that. So that's why I tend to set my, that's why I tend to like do brush strokes like this instead of, say, making an actual brush that would probably do something like, say, I don't know, like optimize it away. I guess that's kind of the little reasons why I think I still skew towards traditional art in favor of the reason why I skew towards traditional art instead of digital art is because I guess I'm so used to the meditative process of doing these brush stroke techniques as I'm so used to just doing these specific brushstroke techniques because I did them on paper, and I'm so used to just doing that instead. Okay, nearly got this done. I could probably like shrink this brush so it looks like it's not just going out in the distance. And again, I also need to keep in mind that these strokes are supposed to be like adhering to the curve of the tail. So, you know, the tail's a big cylinder, so you gotta factor in cylinder. That's essentially how you're doing details like this and making it look realistic, is that you're breaking it all down into the bigger simple shapes and trying to think like, okay, what's the simple version of this complicated thing? That's kind of just the big like that's the big thesis statement of cartooning, is that okay, we can draw this simpler on smaller paper. How do we convey this without, you know, conveying a giant thing? But yeah, I mean, so far so good. This has been pretty solid. Let's see. Shall I let you go? Yeah, you look 1-to-1. I feel like the tie's very plain looking. I probably could like put like a basic little tie pattern here, because I see this suit it has kind of a bit of tie pattern, but then these other ties, they're more solid. And you know, when I showed the tie references to my friend, she was like, I'm not really like digging the bigger like tie pattern, so I kept it plain. But yeah, you know, otherwise, everything's just solid. Probably clean up the reds off this, just so it's not just so crazy sloppy. I don't know why I need to just clean it, because obviously in the age of AI and stuff, having a slight bit of scuff will make it look more immersive. So that's kind of just one of those things where, you know, people are having a bit more optimism about, you know, not being as perfectionistic about, you know, the art details not being absolutely 1-to-1. But yeah, I'd say so far so good with this. You know, it's I could let this go. I'm tempted to mess with this mailbox, but I'm like, that would probably take away from the, you know, the cat herself. So I'll just let you go. I will let you go. I am letting this go. And now, I'm going to take a break, look at my internet connection, make sure that it's not completely melting. And then, we're actually going to do the main thing that I started this stream for. That's reacting to my podcast interview. So I will be right back after these fine messages. Whatever, like advertising with the Twitch. Oh yeah. I will see you all soon. Be right back. Hello. And we're finally back. Yeah, connection's kind of like all over the place, but you know, we're kind of just figuring things out. Hope everyone's doing alright. But yeah, tonight I am gonna react to a art stream by a Cartoonist by Night, where I will kind of just be checking out all the cool stuff that they've been showing off there. And, you know, we had a nice chat. You know, I kind of just talked about how pixel art works and stuff like that. And, God, this is the first time I'm actually, like, seeing this, you know, recorded. So I figured I might as well kind of just share this off for everyone to see. Hopefully things will be pretty good here. I have not listened to this at all. And, you know, if you want to listen to the show yourself, you are welcome to kind of just stop by and check things out. And one thing that I'm also going to be working on here is I'm working on cleaning up this illustration where, you know, I have my Warriors of Light. So I initially had the Warriors of Light here, kind of just, you know, standing in 4 circles and enjoying their life with, you know, kind of just ready for battle and stuff like that. And, you know, it's pretty alright. And I figured, you know, they're just doing their just general, basic, you know, they're just doing like a cool pose. And I was like, okay, what if I animate this? And that's kind of just what I've been up to for, I'd say, the past few weeks. I've been trying to do a bit of animation stuff here. So this is a 8-frame loop, and I was using a Aseprite extension called Waveform to kind of just have these like clothed folds. And obviously it's not perfect, so that's why I'm also continuing to work on this to kind of just have like the little seams and stuff like that. So, you know, hopefully you will all enjoy this fine thing. And I'm going to be cleaning this up as I basically react to what I've been doing. So I will do like the initial start and kind of just show this at full stream. And they kind of just see me kind of just messing around here. Yep. What's it doing here? What you doing? I see what's wrong here. Yeah, you're not here. Move. Now I can move this. Okay, I think I got rid of the hand. I get rid of this hand though. Yes, my hand's still fine. Alright, let's actually just start. And this is the first time I'm seeing this, and we are reacting. Probably make like a little pog champ thing if I'm making a stream clip, but let's get to it. Yeah. Let's knock the volume down some more as well. Yeah. And if the volume's too much, I'll let you know. Yeah. It was actually really cool meeting D-Brad, because he's a storyboard artist for Ed, Edd n Eddy, and I did not actually know that. And it's kind of just one of those things where I've only found out about that just by essentially doing stuff like this. So this is pretty rad. And boy, and it's buffering. Of course, my internet connection is very ass, unfortunately. So it is what it is with that. I apologize for you not being absolutely exceptional with that. But, you know, it is what it is. But hopefully things at least look a little bit solid and things like that. Cartoonist about night, yeah.
Welcome to Cartoonist by Night. I am Anthony Lash. I am
Oh, who's that handsome fellow?
Matt Hansel and our very
He's a little too
special
human
guest,
looking.
an independent cartoonist, Ryan Francis. How's it going, Ryan?
Hey everyone, thanks for having me.
Hello,
Yeah.
of course.
Hi, Ryan.
We may have some more cast members jump in. Hopefully, we'll cross our fingers. If not, we're going to have even more fun to make up for it. So when we bring our guest on, we have them select the topic of their choice. Ryan, what is that topic for this evening?
Retro gaming.
Retro gaming. So here we go.
Yeah, there are
What we're
other
gonna do in
topics
this
I
episode,
could
we're
have
gonna
chosen,
discuss
but
retro gaming,
I
as well as
think
learn
that
all about
because,
Francis
you know, it
and,
was
their
something
artistic
that was just
journey
on my
that
mind
led
at the
them to
moment.
Cartoonist by
Could have
Night.
picked some other
So that is
topics.
gonna be the setup for our
Other
show.
suggested
Before we
topics
dive
I
into
was
it,
kind of like
we
thinking
wanna
about
check
doing
out
was
what we're going to work on this evening.
like
If we know,
small
so let's jump over to Matt
conventions,
Hansel. Any idea
just
what you're working on
indie
this
comics,
evening?
indie publishing, stuff like that.
A favorite game from
And that's
my
kind of just
childhood,
been
Mega
what
Man.
I've been up with.
Ooh.
And if there's
But,
time,
you know, it's,
I'm gonna draw Link from
The other
Legend of Zelda.
topics is mostly
Also
like,
another
you know,
favorite
we
from
pick
my
a topic
childhood.
and then we kind of
I've
like do
said
some
this a
drawing
million
on that
times, but
topic.
I
So
own one of your Legend of Zelda Link pieces, so I'd be excited to see that. But I'm also excited to see Mega Man. So
rad
Awesome.
stuff.
and then jumping over to my screen here, I went ahead and penciled and inked some drawings that I'm going to color this evening. So I'm going back to the original Mario Brothers, not Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, nice.
So I've got a
I
Mario.
actually like that aesthetic
I've
of what he
got
was
a
doing with.
Luigi. They almost look
Yeah,
the
I like
same
Anthony's
because they
aesthetic
do
of doing the
in-
original Mario Bros.
I have one of those random turtles. I've got those.
I actually
crazy
do really like that
crabs.
classic
I'm gonna keep it
arcade
on my
style.
screen here. And then if
The
I
Mario
color all
Bros.
those, I also have a Cubert.
Oh,
I've
yes.
I've got whatever that guy is, and then one of the snakes. So these are some of the other characters that are on the original arcade cabinet and everything.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So I went ahead and that's what I did with their designs, is that looking at their specific arcade cabinet artwork and tried to replicate it. I'd add a little extra flair here and there and stuff like
I'd
that.
say he did
but,
pretty good with the
So yeah, I
replication,
have a
though.
whole of these here that I will color some of them, if not all of them. So that is what I have on my table. Now we jump to our guest. Ryan, what do you plan to work on this evening?
All right. So I plan on working on a nice Final Fantasy One piece, just the original like 4 Warriors of Light from the original Nintendo Entertainment System Final Fantasy games.
Ooh, cool.
And I'm going to do a little pixel art piece, as you know, I'm mostly a pixel artist these days.
Cool. We're going to see some examples of that artwork that I pulled earlier, and I'm excited to actually see the process.
Yeah,
And
my biggest mistake
we've
was
seen
thinking
some
I could have get this
picture-in-picture,
done in
photo
like
before
1
from our
hour, and
last guest, and,
that was a humongous
this
mistake
is
on my
an
part,
extremely awesome
but
one, as I see there's
it
this,
is what it is with that.
little digital hand floating around. I've never seen that before.
Oh yeah, this is a this is a amalgamation of my art stream setup. So I do weekly live streams of my art, and this little hand right here is a kind of a custom software called Spud tablet.
Ooh.
And what it essentially does is the image tracks to my mouse pointer. So, I can make a custom mouse image. I put that transparent Photoshop near the spot where the mouse pointer is supposed to be. You export it to the software, and once you have a little video green screening stuff with your stream, it will then follow your entire mouse pointer. So if I draw, come on. If I totally fumble that. Come on, Ryan, you're in prime time. I'm actually drawing on stream.
Wow. That's awesome.
Probably could have picked a different color for that. Yeah, it's a nice little flair to adding, to get people to actually see that I'm actually physically drawing, because most other streams you'll probably not see that. You'll probably just see a mouse flying around, but no, this is gonna look like my hand a little bit.
And because the hand is green, that makes me want to run upstairs and grab a Hulk hand or something when I color my sketch cards tonight. But I'll just stick to the regular hand this evening. So I got a feeling that'll probably obstruct my view here if I have a Hulk hand. But cool.
Yeah, this tech kind of wowed them when I showed it to them. So I gotta feel real proud of that.
We're gonna draw and discuss retro gaming. We are going to learn all about Ryan Francis, but we always start off with our topic and ask our guests, why they chose it, and talk about your passion for retro gaming and everything that you want to say about it. As we'll kick it off with you first. So, what do you want to say about retro gaming?
I mostly just picked this topic because I'm currently in the process of making my own retro style video game, and because I'm constantly making pixel art, I get into a lot of retro games that use pixel art for that technology due to, their tech limitations back then. So real John Madden commentary right there. Talk about stat stuff, because I do a lot of research when it comes to, just how the pixel art works, what it's supposed to look like to look authentic to how it's supposed to look in terms of a real game that would come from that era. Man, this flares up my imposter syndrome, because I actually don't think about the tech as much as I should when it comes to studying pixel art. Most of my pixel art studies are, can I find this game on Spider's Resource? And that's about it.
I think you've captured it perfectly when I
I don't stick too much to the tech as much as I should, unless I'm doing something on the Game Boy, doing something on the Game Boy Studio and things like that, awesome. Which sort of mandates it.
A lot of that was Greek, but I understood just enough of it to be dangerous.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yes. Now, one of the things I find interesting about the term retro is that retro, by definition, can actually be defined differently depending on who you're talking to, based on their ages and everything. And I'm excited to learn as we go around the horn here, is that what is the first game that pops in your mind when you hear the term retro gaming? Is there a game that just popped in your mind right now?
Pong.
Yeah. Oh, probably besides Final Fantasy 1 on the NES. I'd say I also grew up with the Nintendo 64. So when I was a kid, I was playing my first video game console was the Nintendo 64. And I was also playing. Yes, I'm a total fraud. Fraud alert. Not necessarily the original Game Boy, but I still loved playing that one. Let the imposter syndrome flow. I'm not a real retro gamer. Doing the math, you think in terms of retro games would be 20-ish years ago. Most people will think of those old 8-bit consoles. But funnily enough, I think 20 years of 8-bit consoles, I believe that is from the Atari to, I think, the PlayStation 1. Because the PlayStation 1, that was 1995. Yeah. 20 years ago, that'd be 2005. So that's the GameCube currently. I'm going to look this up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's exactly why I brought the question up, because
you should have known this from the top of your head, Ryan. You fraud.
And we have different age ranges, and I'll be excited if we see Deep Red earlier too, because I'm excited to get his answer. Is that the first one that pops in my head is Donkey Kong. Even though
Donkey Kong's still a strong game though.
It's relative enough.
Like at first I thought, it's not that good, but it's like, no, it's still solid.
But yeah, so it's cool to
like I've been watching a few like documentaries on like how Donkey Kong's scoring works, and I was kind of like, oh, that's how it works.
Experience with the N64 at all?
So yeah, so the first few games that I played on the Nintendo 64, I was playing with my friends, and we had like this after school program. And my after school program, they brought in like an N64. So you know how on school occasions they'll bring in like that rolling TV.
Oh yeah.
And they have the they have the video.
Right,
so
yeah.
it was that, but with Nintendo 64.
Awesome.
And me and my classmates, we were playing Star Fox 64 and trying to get through that game, because that game you couldn't actually save in Star Fox 64.
Yeah.
But everybody was like, okay, it's a short, well, nobody knew that it was a short game at the time, but we're like, okay, we're gonna try to get far into the Star Fox 64. It's a really cool jet game.
Yeah.
And we're just going in there trying to just get as far as we could. One thing that I probably never mentioned to them is that so the after school program, you actually had you could only stay on that TV for 30 minutes. So you could probably get through maybe 2-3 levels if you're good or something like that. But you couldn't really stay playing the game for long. So me and my classmates, we would cycle between as we played the game. There'll be those unfortunate occasions where you'll have different classmates, they want to play a different game. So they were also playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1. And, that was also the other game that, our class was just obsessed with. And, that was notable with that and stuff like that. But, we were trying to beat that. But if they changed the game, well, you had to play Star Fox next time, and that was kind of just the breaks with that. Luckily, we had beaten Star Fox, and that was pretty solid with that, so it is what it is with that. So I'm pretty, obviously, that's the reason why I'm into Star Fox in general, is, I played the 64, but I think the only, other Star Fox game that, I guess I played was Command. Command was the first Star Fox game I actually owned, and I hadn't really played any other Star Foxes besides Command and 64. I played a demo of Adventures, and I played a demo of Assault, I think it was. It had those GameCube kiosks and stuff like that. But I never really purchased Star Fox myself, because, back in the day, games, you couldn't afford more than one game, so that was kind of just the nature of all that stuff. So, that's a dumb little fun fact about just the Star Fox stuff that I was talking about. Maybe I'll go through that actual thing in the podcast and just pausing. And if you don't want me to pause all the time, you can always check the podcast yourself. That game. And we end up finding little secrets okay, what happens if we say Falco? Or we get a secret path. Holy cow. This is the most basic bitch secret things that I can remember. Me and my classmates were just it wasn't talking about finding the secret warp points or nothing like that. And just super basic shit in Corneria. My big experience with the Nintendo 64 until I had my parents purchase our own console there. So for I think one of my birthdays, I think it was my I'm gonna say it's my 8th birthday. That's pretty straightforward. No. 8th birthday. If I was doing the math, I'm currently 34. So 8 minus 34, that is 28. So 28 years in the past. 28 minus 2005. Let's see. That would be 90, 2005. Wait, no. 28, 2005 minus 8 years. 4, 3, 2, 1, 2000. 99, 98, 97. So 1997. You know what? I'm gonna fucking fact check myself. 1997. I bet you I'm wrong. I don't know why I'm fact checking my own stream, but I'm gonna look myself up. Games released in 1997. Nintendo 64 games. I hope I'm doing the math right. All right, Wikipedia. Let's go. Let's see, 1997. All right, because let's see what games I actually owned during 1997. Banjo-Kazooie. I owned Banjo-Kazooie in 97. Let's see. Which means, yeah, I would have legit had Donkey Kong 64. No. Nope, that's wrong. Donkey Kong 64 released in 1999. Which means 3 more years. Let's see. $26. Oh, I would have been 9, which means I did my math wrong. Alright, so it does track. Alright. Fact checked over. Probably, yeah, my 8th birthday.
Yeah.
And I'd say I got an N64 with Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah.
And
There you go.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It was
Still, I did.
First,
I will
guess,
say that
video
estimate
game
was pretty
owned.
legit, though, so I'm pretty happy that I
You know,
actually
as a kid,
did
you
that.
own a lot of video games, so you played that game, and Donkey Kong 64 just seemed to be the largest video game. Like, you were able to
Yeah, I never
run
played
around
Mario
everywhere.
64
You
before I
could,
played Donkey Kong
do
64.
jumping, you
And
could
obviously,
explore
these days
several
it's a
different levels and stuff
big
like that. It had, like,
collectathon.
an Aztec Lost Temple level. It had a factory level. It had a scary ocean level and stuff like that. And it also had multiplayer. It had 4-player multiplayer. So me and my friends would come to each other's houses and we would play like this multiplayer battle mode in Donkey Kong. And later we also played Mario Kart 64. So that was pretty fun with that. Yeah. And we were kind of like cheap for that. We end up doing the split screen and stuff like that. We were able to just see each other's screens, so we just
basic
knew each
bitch
other's
nostalgia.
race, so we knew where we could set up our bananas and items and stuff like that. Exactly. So it was kind of just one of those just funny little things with that. And and I experienced other
other games that I've played along with it. So me and my friends, we kind of like did a thing where, my other friends, we owned the PlayStation. So, whatever other games that was on the PlayStation, we also played. So we played games like Crash Team Racing as well, and Crash Bandicoot 2 and all that stuff. And we're kind of just going through that and kind of just experiencing games like that. And obviously you had like rentals and Blockbuster and stuff like that. So, we were pretty decent when it came to available games. Of course, this is freaking buffering because my internet connection's kind of crap. But we're just gonna let that rock. And push comes to shove, I'll just do like a little like stream clip type thing. Right, just get rid of it. Oop. Okay. The fighting man. Yeah, luckily, while waiting for the stupid thing to buffer, I'm going to be continuing working on this. So, what I'm currently doing right now is I'm actually splitting this into pieces. So I can actually, because I also plan to animate the body. So that's kind of why I'm splitting this into more pieces. So as I go, I can just extend Estelle here. As I go, you know, things will be covered up and all that stuff. And yeah, so far so good. And what I plan to do is plan to kind of just kind of like give like a little idle animation with the you know, the little like parts of the body and stuff like that, just as a little like no extra thing. So yeah, it's me figuring it out as I go. Probably won't even finish this animation till it freaking buffers. Can I lower you? If push comes to shove, you're going down to 360p. Cause we're just rendering, baby. Would you look at that? Server's completely clocked out. Yeah, well, we're gonna let this rock right here. We will not be daunted by stupid bullshit like at least I will not be daunted by dumb bullshit like stream internet connections and stuff like that. Maybe that should be a stream goal where I invest in fiber or whatever the heck it is, or try to get like a what's it called? What's it called? Where you're actually just getting the wire, not just using the Wi-Fi packets and the packet errors and things like that. And push comes to shove, man, I won't just react to this stream because right now it's kind of just all over the place, and it's not really all over the place. It's just one of those things where nothing is working, I suppose. Nothing's connecting, and I'm actually not super happy that this ain't connecting at all. But I'll just have to live with it. Am I gonna have to like frickin' restart you? Maybe we do a reload. How about that? Probably a bad idea. Oh, my internet connection's just flat out not working. Well then, that means my stream's not even working at all. Mario Kart 64, so that was pretty fun with that. Yeah. And we were kind of like cheap for that. We end up, you know, doing the split screen and stuff like that. We were able to just see each other's screens, so we just knew each other's progress in the race. So we knew where we could set up our bananas and items and stuff like that. Exactly. So it was kind of just one of those just funny little things with that. And and you know, I experienced other retro games. My other friend, he had a PlayStation 1, so we were playing some PlayStation. I'm talking about that too. Well, like trying to get through Crash Bandicoot 2 and Frogger on the PlayStation. So yeah, Frogger's a rarity. Frogger on the PlayStation is it's not the original arcade Frogger. It's like I guess it's this PlayStation reboot of Frogger. And essentially, you
it's the original game, but it had like way more levels, and it just went deeper into the general mechanic of you're a little frog, you were hopping on a grid. But then this grid had just huge things where it's like, now it has moving platforms. Now it's going through a giant factory. And now it's like got ice levels where it's like you hop, but then you're sliding forward with that.
I actually don't think that's a legit mechanic in the Frogger PlayStation 2 game.
So that PlayStation Frogger game is really underrated. So if you can find,
and there's D-Brad,
sure, and
he's hearing me talk about how weird Frogger is.
Retro gaming is these days you got retro game collectors, and so actually trying to find the real hardware for those games is difficult because some people will like want to collect the games themselves and want to spend money on that, and those can go for a lot with that.
Yeah, especially with scalping and stuff like that.
And that's a great segue because I see a Kermit the Frog on a bookshelf behind D-Brad Gibson, who has now joined us here on the show. Hello, D-Brad.
Hey,
yeah, that is a nice pivot that he did.
Sorry I'm late.
No problem. He was trying to get now, I don't want to blow up your spot, but D-Brad Gibson was out on the street and he was trying to cross the street, but there were all these cars and all these other vehicles coming through, and he kept trying to slowly get up the street, but then he would have to go back and then left and up and right and try to get across the street without getting flattened. But here he is. So D-Brad Gibson, this is Ryan Francis.
I do like listening to these podcasts because it helps me kind of like understand how people do these podcasts.
I see you're drawing some
drawing some pixel art here of
Final Fantasy. That's what I was gonna say, pixel art.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
So I use a program called the Aseprite, Aseprite, Aseprite.
Mastafran, amazing speller.
And it's a big notable pixel art program that I'd say most other pixel artists use. Like there's other artists who have used things like Microsoft Paint, like from that original Microsoft Paint thing. And that's how a lot of the earlier pixel artists, they made their own pixel arts with that. And essentially they were ripping like emulated games. So you have like early like emulated ROMs, and in those ROMs people were able to like rip the character sprites, and people were
and the tile sprites,
some, like little modifications. People would make their own original characters, or they would kind of like try to make video game mods where they'll try to like make fan games of those of their favorite games and stuff like that. And it's just this really cool community.
It's kind of a bad explanation, and I'm missing a few things, but I got the gist of it.
Getting more familiar with the art of pixel art, just working with these little dot arts, and kind of getting that retro game style, and people are able to kind of just make magic through just doing just these elaborate landscapes that look straight out of just a really high definition game from the arcade or those early computers and things like that. So
arcade didn't have high definition, but whatever,
world I've kind of just got into for since 2020. Honestly, I've only been doing pixel art for now it's going on 6 years, but honestly, it's a world.
Mastafran, you're a fraud. You're not a real retro gamer.
Because, when I was when I was a kid,
retro gaming is retro gaming. Who gives a crap,
I hung out with friends, and in high school we emulated games, and when you're online, you end up finding different types of art, and among that different types of art, you find pixel artists, people who were just able to make art that looked exactly like those old retro games and sometimes better. So it's really cool. And it was only
you have a real like John Madden way of explaining stuff. Like I think one thing that I'm kind of gonna criticize myself about is I repeat myself way too much.
using my hand and my tablet to draw. It's just you're drawing on really tiny. You're drawing on a really tiny canvas, essentially.
Yeah,
And
I had students like when I taught art, and they would like to do pixel art using just graph paper.
Oh, sure, yeah, good guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I'd say that's how he made it back
looking
then.
up old retro games, I love looking up the stories of how, for the lack of better words, old masters managed to make pixel art with none of these like modern computer tools. You were dealing with people who essentially had just CRTs. They're big, they're the big box TVs, and they didn't have these really pressure sensitive tablets. They basically had they had light boards or something like that.
I think specifically they had
working with that, and they had to.
So I think they did have, I guess, to put it short, tablets, but they weren't pressure sensitive. They worked more like if you've ever been to a bank and you had to like sign your name for like a digital receipt in their computer, there'll be like this little crap little screen where if you sign it, it kind of like records it magnetically or something like that. So from what I've seen from the retro game stuff, and I think the most notable thing that I've been able to find is let me see if I can't find the Street Fighter thing, because I have like Street Fighter as a notable where is it? Street Fighter. Kind of had a there was this article, let me see. You're not it. Oh, are you it? That's not it. I feel like paper trails. I'm freaking blind. Hopefully this is it. And I'm just realizing that I just put this look up here, but might as well see if you'll actually pop up or anything. Let's see. Paper trails. So let me look this up real fast, because I feel like this kind of stuff. Let's see, ROM budget, sheet system. So yeah, they did do their stuff on grid papers and stuff like that. And obviously they glued it together. Did they scan this? Let's see. Yes, it used a 16 by 16 tiles, and those tiles were put together in grids and stuff like that. And they set up these grids in the initial drawings, like they actually drew on paper, but then they cut them up for their grid system, and then they'll put it together, and they kind of this is how they see where the line art's supposed to go and stuff like that. Let's see. It's actually kind of funny, but yeah, essentially they drew them on paper, and I don't know how they scanned them. Did they have scanners back then? No, I guess they were kind of just working off these actual physical papers. Yeah, the ratio was slightly off. It's insanity how they were able to just do this. Okay. Hunting crumbles. Yes. So nothing here that kind of talks about how they, I guess they didn't physically draw on it. Well, I could probably come back to that some other time, but it is what it is with that. Place it down pixel by pixel, so they actually had to use. Leave it to me to just fact check myself all over the place. Those light boards weren't really. You didn't have as many opportunities to make mistakes. Right now, I can
essentially paint over my own pixel art pretty easy, but back then they flat out could not do that as fast, so they had to make all that pixel art count. And it's just exceptional kind of to see that process, because a lot of their process making a pixel art is they would make a lot of pre-made pencil art first. Like,
Okay.
I looked up
I got
the
that
process
right.
of how they made the original Street Fighter 2 with like Ryu and
Yeah,
Ken
the
and,
exact link I just showed
Sagat
you.
and stuff like that. And essentially they were making those sprites in huge grid paper, actually physically drawing the characters. And then I'm not even sure if they had scanners back then, or they had like rudimentary scanners and stuff. No, I think they had scanners, but yeah, essentially
Yeah,
they had
let's actually look that up. Did they have scanners? I'm gonna actually look that up. In fact, I'm just gonna keep this link up while I actually look it up. I would apologize for pausing all the time, but I'm like, I'm just reacting. I am reacting here.
just go off of those grid papers to make it happen. And it's a task that obviously I wouldn't want to do, but it's one of those things where I do admire that just ingenuity of being able to figure out how to just get art working from essentially like really limited tech. So
Cool. Yeah, and to think, like, I had to start somewhere, like for that style of art, and just because trying to make something out of nothing with the
Okay,
limited tool
so a
set,
lot of
and
scanners came
now
from
it's
like
cool that
fax
you
machines.
have the
A lot of
programs
fax
that
machines were from
you use now,
1843,
shout out
so
to try to replicate. And
so
still
scanners
do
were
styles
coming.
like that,
Let's
even
see,
though
analog
we have,
scanners. I'm
many
looking at
more
Wikipedia right
resources to
now.
do other
Actually,
type
like
work. So
looking up
I think it
scanners.
says something to that style of art that we're still having people wanting
1893,
to produce
20th
that kind of art,
century.
and I think it's awesome.
yeah, the limitations breeds
1937.
creativity,
So the
so it's
word,
pretty
the
exceptional
tech
with
is
that.
here. It's
I have
coming.
students that
I don't know how
will do
portable it
pixel
was.
art in their Minecraft.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
1957
my
digital
friends
image.
that I draw with
1975.
kids,
Okay, it's approaching the
they-
80s. The
they've
first
made some stuff in
flatbed scanner.
Minecraft and everything too.
So yeah, it's coming.
It's kind of ironic. I never really.
So yeah, they definitely had scanners by the
Minecraft
80s.
myself. My friends in college,
sure they
got
were
into
expensive.
Minecraft, like just when it was starting, just when it was originally on the original like Java, just like on the internet and stuff like that.
Right.
And I was seeing that. I was like, okay, I'll try it out. And I was kind of not really understanding the big process of like, the crafting. You're looking for resources and things like that. So I guess it didn't really gel with me specifically, unfortunately.
Yeah. D. Brad, with joining us, a little into the broadcast here. Do you have something that you plan to work on this evening at all?
Well, I might draw a dog based on a dog that my student sent me.
Yeah.
So I'm just coming up with some ideas. That's all right now.
Okay.
But,
Okay, cool. And I was checking to see if you had the connection with your phone or not, or if you're not ready for that yet.
no, I didn't connect it. No, I just came straight from saying goodbye to the guy who was working here.
Did he
Then-
forget his ladder, or is that your ladder behind you?
That's my ladder.
Yeah, I think someone was working on his house before he got here.
The crawl space, which
Do you-
is right here.
Do you use that ladder to try to save Pauline from Donkey Kong? Now that's a great reference, everybody.
Yes, it is.
Let him
That's our
pitch.
show. Good night,
He is good
everybody.
at
Thanks for
pivoting.
being here,
I
Ryan.
like this guy.
Yeah.
And I crawl along each shelf as well. And
And
barrels.
by
come
this guy, I
flying
mean
out at me.
Anthony.
Yeah,
I keep like slipping.
Jumping over to Matt Hansel. Now you said Pong is like your the first retro game. That was the first game that came into your mind.
Right.
Do you want to talk about your?
I remember when I went to Midwest
your,
Gaming Classic and
relationship
tried
with
out
retro
Pong,
gaming?
and it It's still solid. I'm surprised at how
I'm not much of
smooth
a gamer
Pong
now,
was.
but I was a lot when I was a youngster, and you know, we had Atari and you know, computer games and things like that, and then we got the first Nintendo, and with that, you know, I fell in love with Mega Man and Mario Brothers and Legend of Zelda and all of that. And then that carried over to a Super
As it should.
NES, and that then transformed into a Sega Genesis, and then that was the last system that I had.
Okay. So you're almost kind of you stopped, you know, as far as like retro gaming
Okay.
to people in our age bracket. You know, you kind of stopped right there, and you're stuck in the retro era.
Right, I am. I don't know that much about modern gaming. I'm sad to say.
Honestly, you're not missing anything.
All right.
Don't worry.
Modern
not
games-
much.
Oh man,
I mean,
I am
Minecraft's probably
freaking.
interesting, but I'll never know. This tiny little game called Minecraft.
Maybe someday that'll become something.
Yeah.
Yes.
As I asked the other people earlier, D. Brad, is that real quick, when I say retro games, what's the first retro game? What's the first game that just popped in your head right now?
Well, probably Pac-Man, but before that, there was Duck Hunt, I remember, and Asteroids, and Space Invaders. And I do remember Pong too.
Good selections.
Yeah, yeah, probably Asteroids and Space Invaders and Pac-Man. Those are probably the ones. But I
Something's
had
interesting about asteroids. Sorry, let me continue. Sorry.
I don't think I had more to say. Okay, go ahead.
Interrupting
Yeah,
Fran.
asteroids is kind of fascinating because when you listen to interviews with other developers, specifically the developer for Doom, John Romero, he mentions a lot that
The only source I have for that is the Masters of Doom book.
He got really good at asteroids.
So
And
I don't know. I haven't heard any other interviews from him about
how,
that.
like, those big first-person shooter games like Doom play, because when you're thinking about it, Doom and a lot of first-person shooters are just 3D versions of asteroids. Essentially, you are pointing and shooting. You're able to move while shooting in a specific
It's a bit
direction.
of a simplification, but it's
I
kind of
love
in the gist of
finding
it.
out little connections like that when it comes to, you know, just how people are influenced by games that came before.
Right.
Yeah, that's a cool way to think about it. I like it.
Netflix has a pretty cool series about the history of video games.
Mm.
I can't remember what it's called all of a sudden.
Ah,
I will look it up right now.
Hey,
Yeah, I think it's called.
you're saving.
I can
future
assume he's
Anthony's
talking about the first-person shooter.
live right on the show.
No, he's
While he
probably
looks
talking
it up,
about
here's where I'm at
Ice
with
Score,
the,
perhaps,
Mario
because those are the
Brothers,
notable
pre-Super
ones
Mario Brothers era
that were on
of the,
Netflix.
arcade cabinet game.
I don't know
Of Mario
how
Brothers, Mario and Luigi.
accurate that
Essentially,
documentary
they are the
is,
same
but
character that's
I'm not
just
gonna
duplicated, with
read
the
about
exception
it
of
that
their,
much.
clothing colors. So when I was drawing, now here's a little insider tip: is that I can draw characters easier when they're looking to the right side of the audience, on the right side of the card.
That's also most furry
And
artists.
So I don't draw too many.
Most
characters.
furry
You can
artists
go
will
through
look
almost
to the
all
side.
things
They
I've
don't do
ever
much
drawn,
like
and you don't
forward
see too many characters
looks.
looking the other direction like I have Luigi here. So essentially, I had to try to. I think I nailed the.
Obviously,
Mario
it
one,
looks more
but then I had
dynamic,
to try
but
to
this guy just
replicate
wonders
that, but
just
have them
funny little
facing a
things you
different
kind of
way.
like notice
Now,
about a lot of
digitally, I
like
could've easily just
furry art
select
stuff
all and,
is
change the
a lot of
horizontal
them
view
tend to
right
just
there and be
look
done
to the
with it.
side.
But doing the physical art, that was a challenge. So he looks a little different, but it helps because he is Luigi. So that's a little explanation there. But it was my attempt to try to do the same thing again, but facing the other direction. But this would be like if I was drawing with my right hand opposed to my left hand that I'm used to. But
Right. Well, the name of the docuseries is 6-part series is called High Score.
Real cool.
Oh, okay.
And
So it was
and
high
goes
score.
from the beginnings, probably from I don't know if Pong's the first or not, but
It's also very North America centric. Like
Nice.
Japan
to, like,
and Europe didn't really have a video
if I
game
remember right.
crash, unlike America.
70s, 80s, and 90s it covers.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
I'm always down.
Like
for a
freaking
nice
Xevious was
documentary
coming
and
out
one
during the
song
video
right now.
game crash.
Yeah.
And
If
that,
you're into,
like
video
Xevious
game
and Tower Dorado were
documentaries,
coming
also
out during
check
the video game
YouTube
crash.
series, The Gaming Historian.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
R.I.P. Gaming
Really good at
Historian.
kinda, like,
he is
getting,
recently
like, insights
declared
on
that
just
he is no
the,
longer
general
making videos.
creation of, like, a lot of notable video
I mean, he's
games.
not dead.
I
He's
think,
making
one I would
normal
absolutely
history
recommend is
content,
his,
but it's kind of just one of those
Tetris.
things.
Like the actual creation of Tetris from like actual Soviet Russia and figuring out all those like rights issues when it comes to getting it out of like Russian like computer labs to the actual Nintendo Game Boy and then arcade, and then you had a bunch of Tetris.
It was arcade first, but whatever.
So it's really fun to just hear stuff like that.
I think the NES was before the
discovered
arcade.
the other day for Mario Day that Mario's hair is brown, but his mustache is black.
Yeah, ain't that
some fun stuff
insane?
with that.
Yeah, and I think because I'm looking at least one of the cabinet reference pics, and I think both of them just black hair and black mustache. But yeah, I know once you get into the Super Mario Brothers, then
The brothers.
Yeah. Hooked on the
do the
brothers.
Mario, swing your arms from side to side. Come on,
Do the Mario. Take
Do the
one
Mario.
step, and then you can. Let's do the Mario all together now.
What's
Awesome.
great is that I kind of use a little bit of my Muppet Jim Henson Rolf voice in there to like swing your arms from side to side. Kind of gets me in the mood there.
Hey, yeah.
Now,
Did I finally do this?
when the topic of retro gaming was decided, I thought as a host of a drawing show in which we were going to talk about retro gaming, I thought I
Okay.
had to do the proper work. I didn't want to do something 50% and just wing the rest of it. I decided to go to a very popular local arcade on Thursday, the day before we are currently recording. And I went to that arcade, which is a very cool place that they allow. Their whole model is that it's $20 for unlimited all-day play. They give you a wristband, and you can come and go as you please if you want to go grab some lunch or whatever. So I got in almost 3 hours that I hung out there, and 1 hour of that was just on pinball machines alone. They have an awesome selection of pinball and classic and updated arcades and everything. But the ones that I played, I took a picture of all of them so I can kind of retell it. So pinball machines, there's a King Kong game, Myth of Terror Island.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a fun one there that had a lot more, it wasn't like movie specific. They had a lot of black and white, like cutaway scene clips and stuff, but I think it was all like animated and to its own design and everything.
All right.
They had a Dungeons and Dragons, the Tyrant's Eye pinball machine.
Oh, yeah.
They had a Godzilla one then there's some Japanese lettering there, so I don't know if that is the same word or a subtitle, but I played a Godzilla one. They had the Uncanny X-Men pinball.
Oh, I used to play that one a lot.
Some-
No, that was a video game, not pinball.
Oh, yep. They had that video game there too, the ones that you would find at like Pizza Hut and stuff.
Yep, I used to play a lot. I used to play that one a lot too.
More
I played
pinball.
that too.
They had Jurassic Park, based off of the first movie. And then they had some modern ones with the Stranger Things one. What was really cool about the Stranger Things pinball was just that the music was like that real eerie Hawkins music, that the menu music or whenever anything gets intense on Stranger Things, that
Yeah.
music was playing during the pinball machine, so that just kind of made it awesome. And then when you go to like
Yeah.
the upside down,
I'm probably
like,
like
all the
refined
lights
this
would
much
change
too
to, like,
much.
cool purples and blacks, and it was just really a really cool modern pinball. They had a Mandalorian one. They
All
had
right.
a Guardians that was focusing on the
Let's get his
27th
head
film,
down.
the first movie from 2014.
Let's try to like let this
They had
go
a
a bit.
Dr. No James Bond pinball machine.
Yeah.
So that one is very retro and throwback and all that. My favorite of the pinball machines was the Munsters.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Munsters pinball machine had the coolest thing about it, not only with the awesome theme song and the kind of like the little musical chimes in between the scenes and the hijinks and stuff, but what was cool is that if you scored some bonus rounds, you would find yourself in Grandpa's laboratory, and it was a smaller pinball game setup that was underneath the main pinball screen. So if you're playing pinball and you look underneath it, beneath the glass, there was another embedded tiny Grandpa's Laboratory pinball with flippers and mini pinballs.
Okay.
So if you got that bonus,
That's
you
looking
were
dope,
able
though.
to play that game and try to score some extra.
Yeah, that's looking dope. See, it's slowly and steadily looking more and more seamless. The more I do this, the easier I can like get away with letting this like move and stuff like that. So I'm gonna keep doing this because I do plan on doing things like having a specific idol with this. But also, the fighter's probably like the easiest character to work with. Obviously, I'm gonna refine this a little better, and honestly, gonna lock the eyes because I don't want the frames to be affected. Okay. All that's really left is actually refining this hair. What I could do here, I can do some bit of some fancy footwork, make a new layer, and I keep forgetting the actual thing. And I'm actually going to see if I can't color the underneath the same here. Color this underneath spot. Yep. Color this underneath spot here. Yep. Color this underneath spot here. Extend it here. And I get rid of like little bits of not useful stuff. Alright, it's already just looking seamless. And I could probably like do some little things where add stuff here. Like whatever like little gap I'm revealing, I just put that here. Okay. Call this under hair, which is not the right under hair. I've also noticed that my thing's also buffering anyway, which is a pain in the keister, but I'll live with it. Alright. Gotta just nudge you away so I can actually see where everything's supposed to be. There we are. Let's see. Yeah, let's do a bit of see if I can't just. Yeah, just erase you, and that's more than enough. Okay. Alright. So far, I managed to like make this bottom hair seamless enough. So now this undercolor will kind of like look, decent. And I could probably do some more just refinery. I could like do something like this. Or put like some black in the center. Yep, looks pretty good. So now everything is kind of just re-adding the lines I kind of just vanished when I was creating the initial thing. And otherwise, that's pretty good. I could probably talk about how I even did all this. So I think, for example, we'll do it with the sword here. So how I did it was boom, 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 boom. Sword. We'll do sword. So I use a extension called FX Wave Warp. And essentially, it's a Aseprite extension that I got from itch.io, which lets me make, some just wave attacks. And what I kind of like did is I used this little preview window to figure out how on earth the animation is supposed to go. And I can do things like change the direction of how it's supposed to look. Like, say, if I want the sword to be wobbly like this, but then make it so it doesn't like wobble as high. So the higher you make it, the more it freaking wobbles out of like any cohesive thought. So I tend to just have it at like 2 or 3. And the closer you do the width, the more it kind of like fizzles and stuff like that. But the wider you do, the more it kind of like looks more like a normal flag wave. So I usually will have the width fairly wide if it's clothes or a hair and stuff like that. I don't mess with the speed because I want to keep it at a lower frame count. Keep it at 8 frames because 8 frames is kind of, cohesive looking. And you can also do things like alternate wave types with stuff like this. Do like little triangles, little sawtooth, circle stuff. It depends on the situation of like what I do want to do with this. You can even like do some noise stuff. So if you want to do like a cool like energy effect, that's going to look pretty nice with that. But usually I stick with the sign at the moment. And then once I do that, click generate. It'll be sticking on there. And it will actually apply it to my animation frames. And I basically did that for the hair, the monk's pants, all the way up to the mage's robes and all that stuff. And I cut apart and put things together, and I pick and choose like which parts go where. And that's basically how I was able to make some decent looking cloth, quote unquote, physics animations fairly quickly. It took me like a week to get the hang of it, but there's still a bit of cleanup with that kind of stuff. So that's kind of just me kind of like doing this very slapdash tutorial of how the wave warp works. So, it is what it is with that. Alright. Tutorial over. Let me see if I can't get back to reacting to this crap. Because I guess it's buffering anyway.
In Grandpa's laboratory, and it was a
Maybe it
small
works.
pinball game setup that was underneath the main pinball screen. So if
Yeah.
you're playing pinball and you look underneath it, beneath the glass, there was another embedded tiny Grandpa's laboratory pinball with flippers and mini pinballs. So if you got that bonus, you were able to play that game and try to score some extra.
Alright, so far so good. And you're still not there. Come on. How about 144p? That's as low as it'll go. Come on. Let me in, brother. Come on. Come on. You working? Come on. How are we looking here? Is my internet connection even connected? Again, I'm on Wi-Fi, so my internet connection is crap. And I've just noticed that it's starting to storm. Or at least it's raining a little. It's kind of drizzling, so my rural suburban weather is not really going to be adequate, unfortunately. Yeah, the one thing I'm not really happy about is the stream's not as I guess not as running as I'd want for it. Yeah, well, we're gonna continue on if I can, because push comes to shove, you know, I'll have the recording
Points
later.
Cool that like they had 2 extra flipper buttons on the side of your main one, so then you would just switch to that to
Okay.
play mini pinball basically.
Okay.
That is pretty cool.
So
All
yeah,
right.
that was a blast. I looked it up, and if anybody wants that machine, you could probably get one for like $9,000. So instead, I'll just keep going back to that awesome arcade and play it all day long. They had a Ninja Turtles one that was heavily focused on the animated series with the art. They had an Avengers Infinity Quest that was a more modern Thanos comic style version. Star Wars Episode 1, so it was awesome to get a
Yeah,
lot
we'll
of
just do
Watto
stuff
and
like
Jar
this.
Jar, audio bits playing throughout the game. They had Revenge from Mars. Now, maybe other people will know, but Revenge from Mars, it just felt like it was created for the pinball. It didn't look like it was movie specific or anything, so that one was kind of cool just because
Yeah,
it
so I'm
felt
kind of
like
like
it was
getting rid of
designed specifically for
these helpful things.
the pinball experience. Terminator Judgment Day. They had one of his guns was the trigger for releasing the pinball. So rather than pulling back the whatever you call, D-Brad's waiting to join here. D-Brad phone home. And so yeah, rather than tapping the button or pulling back the lever to
Yeah,
release the
kind of like
pinball,
doing a bunch
it
of
was
things. I gotta just clean up
gun
the
trigger for
stuff here.
They had a Monster Bash, which represented all of the Universal monsters. So my boy, the creature from the Black Lagoon, got featured in there along with the
He'd
other
be
ones.
great friends with Andy.
And so that was just an hour of pinball alone. I have some arcade machines that I'll save for later on in the show, but I figured that was the proper way to get into the retro gaming mood, is to visit an arcade and do my homework, if you
And
will.
honestly, that's always a great thing.
Really cool.
You should hit up an
That leads
arcade
my
if you can.
question to anybody who wants to answer. Does anybody have any actual arcades near them anymore? You know, they have the barcade has become popular, but this one was just like felt like you were back in the 80s and 90s. So
There's one like what you have near me, and I've been to it before, and it's great. Now you make me want to go back.
hey, cartoonist by night field trip, and maybe I'll make
Yeah,
Yeah. I think I know the one you're talking about. So the one you're talking about, which you probably lives near me, is the Galpin Ghost Arcade in Brookfield, Illinois, and apparently they claim to be the largest arcade in the Midwest.
Oh wow.
I think it's actually in the United States. Yeah, I think, what's the largest arcade in the world? Let me look that up right now. Let's see, largest arcade in the world. Let's see, because I think they actually claim to be the largest in the world, but I'd have to like look that up. There might be like Japan. Let's see. So yes, Galpin Ghost Arcade is the largest in the United States. Okay. Then there is... Let's see, what's this Ars Technica spot? Then there's Wikipedia that says Fun Spot. Let's see. Fun Spot was named the largest arcade in the world by Guinness World Records. And it was held from May 29th to June 2008. And what's the actual largest arcade? Did it lose it to Galpin Ghost? Did it lose that title to Galpin Ghost? That looks like Galpin Ghost. I think Galpin Ghost is the largest arcade in the world. Holy shit. Yep. I think Galpin Ghost is legit the largest arcade in the world. If it's not Fun Spot, and Wikipedia says Fun Spot's there, and I'm cross-referencing this with Ars Technica. Yeah, yes, I'm human. I am not a robot. Let me in, mother lover. Wait, what? No. Because that's like record, I think. You know what? Wikipedia is pretty true. The Republican Party. Oh. Where is Time Gazette? Oh, okay. So he was just putting it on the same thing. Wait. Historical Society found by using houses. What bacon Winnipesaukee. Okay, scuba diving. Only opened in 2004. The Where's Time is its other. Okay. So he did the second variant of the Where's Time tourist magazine. Same mass and tat, the original thing, republication. Okay. Real libertarian stuff. That's very unfortunate. I guess he didn't want to focus too much. Okay. So Billy Mitchell and Steve Weeb and Brian Cutt were, doing all their stuff. Oh, okay. So the documentary was King of Kong was set there. All right. I could assume that he lost focus on actually collecting arcade machines, and that's why he never kept up with making his arcade larger and larger. But nope, looks like Galpin Ghost would probably just be the current. Oh, Guinness is here. Let's see. Fun Spot. Okay, so how current is Guinness? Because Wikipedia says that it lost it. When? 2016. Okay, so current largest arcade machine. Yeah, probably, yeah. Still has 581 total machines, I guess. I guess that makes sense.
I don't know, like, how, if it's actual working arcades. I guess, like, Galpin Ghost is a distant number 2. How many? Okay, Galpin Ghost has 885. Wait a tick. Come on. Now these websites. How many machines do you have? How many machines do you have? That's not pinball. I know going here would like fund more like Republican Party stuff, but it's one of those things where it's like, you know what? I got Galpin Ghost, though I don't know what Doc's about. And I'm not going to slander him just yet. Because for all I know, like, Doc could be totally fine. I'm probably making stuff up. Let's see. 1952 by Bob Lawton. How many machines? 600 games. If they're saying they got 600 games, and Galpin Ghost is saying they've got 800. That means Galpin Ghost is larger. 885 plus. I think Galpin Ghost is larger. I think that's the best possible thing ever. Yeah, I'm gonna just assume Google is right, even though Google probably is hallucinating. But I'd say I think Galpin Ghost is the largest arcade in the world. Fact check complete.
I don't know how true that is, but you know, it is huge.
Yeah,
like it takes up basically the entire block, because like it takes up 2 buildings, because one building he has for actual arcade machines, and then he has a second building that's like down the block for pinball tables and stuff like that.
Cool.
And I've never actually played any real life pinball stuff now that I'm thinking about it, and I could probably just change
I've been
that,
playing
just take
mostly
a little
3D
trip,
pinball.
spend like an hour,
Maybe Sonic
45 minutes
Spinball.
away from where I live, to just, you know, just enjoy some pinball and kind of just actually play pinball on a real table instead of, you know, I guess virtual.
I probably doxed
pinball on
myself.
the, like,
There's some
Windows
fucking
XP.
rainbow motherfuckers out
Right.
there.
Yeah, I approve of that adventure. That'd be awesome.
I do have a
Speaking of,
3-day
like,
weekend. I
virtual
could just
pinball,
hit that
I
up.
may have talked about this. We talked about video games with our guest and friend Dave Scheid. So if you want even more video game talk, we had a bigger deep dive as we kind of covered all of
Yeah,
video games.
I actually didn't even know that
I may have
Dave
said
had suggested
this in
that
episode, but Sonic Spinball
before I found out
for
about
Sega
it.
Genesis.
Hey, Sonic
That was one of those games
Spinball.
that my brother's friend had, and if my memory serves right, I think it was just one of those things that I would just like keep borrowing or borrow for long periods of time, to the point where we just basically kept it, or it was eventually saying, hey, yeah, you can just have it now or something. But I
Yeah.
just remember that I was excited every time that I had the permission to have Sonic Spinball, because being a fan of the Sonic games, and I have a Sonic with a chili dog always at my desk here. Being a fan of the Sonic games, seeing at least a virtual pinball thing was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Sonic myself.
I wish they made a
I,
sequel to Sonic
got into
Spinball,
Sonic,
or
probably,
make
much later
more
than
Sonic
normal, 'cause
pinball
my
stuff.
friend, he played a lot of like Sega Genesis, and I would watch him because he's my older cousin, and you know, he was going through Sonic 2 and stuff like that. I was just really fascinating, kind of just seeing that go through. I think the first Sonic game I actually had my hands on and kind of like actually played and beat is Sonic Adventure on the Sega Dreamcast.
Nice.
And yeah, I just really liked that because it had this cool sequence where you were chased by a killer whale. Like the first level, you had to outrun an orca. And obviously, because you're Sonic, you are really fast, and you can totally do it because you're the fastest thing alive.
Of course.
And so it was just this fun set piece for what's it 2000, where it's just stuff that you wouldn't really see before, and here you are kind of just showing this.
I think the
biggest
Dreamcast
example of,
was
how
2000.
fast Sonic can go. But then you get to Sonic Adventure 2, and he's out running a giant truck.
That's actually not any better. The Orca's way cooler.
I remember that specifically when
Like the gun truck's cool, was like it's not the freaking Orca.
That leap into the kind of like an open world type of, more rather than the 2D side scrolling type of thing, and yeah, that's always exciting. And much like going back to what Ryan was saying with Mario 64, which is my favorite video game of all time.
I never mentioned Mario 64. What are you talking
Mario
about,
64,
bro?
Taking that leap into the open world was just blew my mind. And anytime that I'm replaying Mario Sunshine right now, which in the definition of retro gaming technically would be retro at this point, because I forget if I said Mario Sunshine or Galaxy, but I meant Galaxy.
Sunshine.
So yeah, Mario Galaxy, because of the upcoming animated sequel, I decided to dip my.
I'm still flip flopping about whether I want or not. I want to see that
Switch
because
and
I hear that
so
it's
yeah,
mostly
I get
like
excited anytime for
very
the Mario open world because it brings me
like
back to
mid.
those Mario 64 days.
Like it's
Yeah,
a very
because
ultra mid
The
movie.
jump from the NES to the PlayStation 1 is less than the jump from the GameCube to now. Like it's from the GameCube to now, like it's like 20 years. I think 2005 was when the GameCube. No, it was 2002, I think. So it's even
Look
further.
that up.
Well, here I think
I'm my own
GameCube,
Jamie. I'm gonna look it up.
Say 2001, if I'm not mistaken.
But yeah,
So,
it's
right
still
there.
incredible that's like
Yeah.
retro gaming just essentially changes because time just changes. Like actually doing the math, like you were seeing games just advance by leaps and bounds.
Oh yeah. It's interesting looking back. Like
Yep,
Legend of
GameCube
Zelda,
released in
Ocarina of
2001 in
Time,
North America.
most people
So
would
yes,
say
he was
it's the
right.
best video game ever, and rightfully so. And it's fun when you look at those graphics now, and just be like, remember when that looked like we looked at that like as if it looks like the Tears of the Kingdom now.
Yeah.
That's how we saw Zelda 64 back then. Even though it doesn't look like that, but that's through our eyes. That's what it looks like. But now it actually looks like that.
Oh yeah. Like seeing Grand Theft Auto 3 was mind blowing. Like actually like because you're like, okay, graphics can't get more realistic than this because
And then
like,
GTA 4 came
Grand Theft
out.
Auto 3 just
Whoa!
looked incredible. But then when you're actually looking at Grand Theft Auto 3 now compared to Grand Theft Auto 5, it's like looking at a blocky action figure.
Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah, just how big those leaps are.
Like going from 4 to 5 was ginormous.
I'm gonna check in with some drawings here. I had finished the Mario and Luigi for the most part. I got to do the whiteout on Luigi yet.
Honestly, like 3 to San Andreas was a humongous too. Like they were
in those levels.
They were
Jumping
trucking.
over to Ryan. How's your project coming along?
Yeah, things are going good. I have the initial block-ins for just the entire group right now. And so far, it's the 4 Warriors of Light. You have the fighter who is good with swords. You have the monk who is good with martial arts. You have the white mage who heals the entire party. And you have the black mage who nukes the entire party. I mean, nukes all the enemies. So it's some fun stuff with that.
No, you can't nuke the party not till FF4. No, 3 you could actually attack with your own spells.
Type video game. Where you
Honestly, if you really want to stretch, I mean, I guess games that are trying to simulate Dungeons and Dragons, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think there were other games. You could make a stretch and say Zork is a role-playing game because essentially you were playing the role of this mysterious, faceless person who has to type in his actions and go through a series of winding passages to get through the game.
Right.
Dork.
I seem to remember something, but I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, I remember like you would put in. It was mostly like choose your own adventure type things, but then you would put in what you would do, and then there would be a response that fit or a response that would fit what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, you mentioning choose your own adventure stores, like arguably those are also candidates for the first games, essentially, because you had like things like the cave explorers, and there were some I forget what they were specifically called, fighting fantasy. So it's not Final Fantasy, but fighting fantasy.
Fighting fantasy.
And essentially they were physical books, and you were essentially like,
But yeah, Fighting Fantasy is interesting. Like, if you actually like look up those books, Fighting Fantasy, I think the reason why it was called Final Fantasy was because Final Fantasy was already previously copyright. But let me look that up super fast. Oh no, my internet's fucking dead. Yeah, the internet's dead, man. Yeah. I think I might cut the stream if I can't get this rolling. Can't seem to continue. You know what? Maybe it just won't react. Maybe I'll just end this reaction for now, and you can just watch the rest of it as they go, because I don't think I'm able to continue on. So you know what? I think I'm gonna take a break, continue on this without the podcast thing. But honestly, doing this has kind of just been, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna take a break from now, and you can watch the podcast yourself. All right, I think we're just gonna let it rock for now. Things are kind of like all over the place. Ugh. Yeah, things are kind of all over the place. And my connection is kind of just bottom of the barrel, so I'm gonna not react tonight because my internet is not looking good for reasons that I still cannot figure out. I don't know if it's the fact that I multi-stream. I don't know if it's the fact that yeah, that's probably it. I'm doing multi-streams and it's just not working here. Ooh. Yeah, maybe I should not multi-stream ever again, but it is what it is with that. But I guess for now, we're just gonna do it live. Yeah, I'll just go till maybe like 7 or 8. I don't remember when I started. I think I started 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll stop around like 6-ish, or if I get this fighter hair done. Okay. Essentially what I'm just doing is filling out the black. Just making sure things are not jagged as I go. Oh yeah, sure. Let's see. Okay. And we're just gonna let you rock here. Yeah, put you here. That'll let you just rock here. If it works, it works. If it don't work, I ain't gonna get upset. Let's let it roll. Sometimes it just be like that, where you can do everything right and you still mess up. Yeah, well, honestly, I'm drawing faster because I'm not commentating, so, you know, it is what it is with that. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So we're just gonna put stuff on top. This probably doesn't even matter. Probably kind of just doing as a flair just to get this working here. Yeah, well. I don't like how much it wobbles. I probably should have. I probably should just cut. You know what I should just do? I just have this cut up here. Have this cut up here. Put you on the head. Just put this on the head. The sideburns do not move anymore. I just declared it so. Fighter hair. Yeah. Yeah, we're just gonna cut you. Sideburns. Still. And we just lock that. It ain't perfect. Yeah, it kind of like covers it, but you know, it's one of those things where it's kind of just not gonna matter. Yeah, so I'm gonna basically cut this out. Put you here. Yeah, it's just gonna be like that. We ain't gonna worry about like the tops of the hair floating too hard. Probably should have just did that from the start. Ugh. In fact, I probably could just do this too. Probably is so negligible, but at least something that just keeps it still. That's not just going all over the frickin' place. Good enough. And then I'll just rework the bangs as I go. That's good enough. Okay. You're staying solid. Go back. Let's see. That's a little too much. Yeah, if you can not over animate it, that's gonna be better than just under animating. Okay. We're just filling the gaps. All right. Fill out the colors here. Just get rid of the jaggies. Okay. It'll be here. Okay.
Okay, I need to freaking pick where the fuck this thing's going. Because now you're kind of just going all over the place. Copy. Okay. 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 Because if I can just simplify this shit, I should. Okay. All right. Now we're just gonna put the blacks here. Okay. Good enough. Alright. The surprise blinking black thing here. Da-da-da-da. Alright, how are we looking? Okay. It's sort of looking fine. Alright, head. Let's make you. Okay. They look good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of just looking super deep into it. Control S. I think I might just wrap the stream for now since I've not made a significant amount of progress. I had to do some like up and down motions a little bit, kind of have him have slight breathing, but that's also very complicated. It's possible that I might just let go of the illustration in general, just abandon the animation. I am hitting a point where it is looking really good. I don't know. How many hours have I streamed? Let's see, 5. That's 3 hours. You know what? That's more than enough. Especially since my internet connection just in the toilet. I'll just let this go for now, and I'll upload my large stream on YouTube in the next week and stuff like that, and you can all see what I've been up to with that. Anyway, I will see you all next week. I will figure out when I'm going to stream next week. I do need to make a better effort on deciding on a real date of when I'm actually gonna do regular streams. Anyway, thank you all for stopping by, and have a good night.